Welcome back to episode 4 of... What episode 4 of what now? Oh yeah, this is Vintage Poor Boy Survival, and I am Graybeard from Graybeard Gaming. So, where we left off last time was we had been working on looking at harvesters, and I was like, well, that's all fine and dandy, but we've got a few things we got to do before we can worry about that. Primarily making money, and I got to make an additional, I have to have anything over 6,000 every month. So what I need to do this month is really just work on getting some money made. But with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and fill up the cedar and take it to our farm. And I've been thinking about this, and one of the crops I think I'm going to plant is potatoes. Now, it's not really what I wanted to do because I wanted to get some chickens, but at the same time, pigs eat potatoes, and that's another crop that we can do. But I feel like potatoes are inexpensive enough to plant and harvest, so that is something we'll keep in mind. Now, I do want to plant some barley, and I plan to put barley in the largest field that I have. That will give me some straw if I want to have cows, so I can make TMR, and it will also provide me with feed for chickens. That is something I do wish to do. So yes, we are going to, in September, plant one of these two larger fields, and one I'm kind of leaning towards is this one, into making this one barley. Now, I haven't decided if I need to make one or possibly two fields into potatoes. Now, because potatoes can also be a decent money maker, it's just kind of a problem to deal with. But while we're talking about potatoes, let's take a look at the equipment that I would need. First thing I would need is I would need a way to plant the potatoes. Now, if we go over here into potato technology, we see that that's not really exactly inexpensive. I mean, you're talking $46,000. But if we go through and look, there's other options available to us. In particular, Lizard offers quite a few different options, and the ones that I'm looking at are the Lizard S208, which gives us, for $1,100, we can plant the potatoes, and it'll do 2-meter width, which is pretty good considering this one is 1.9 meters when we're looking at affordable ones. This one's only 1.5. So, I mean, 2 meters, and this one also does 2 meters, but it's the same price. But this one only goes 3 miles an hour, whereas this one goes 4. So I think this is the one we're going to get. Now, when it comes to harvesting potatoes, and we don't have to do this right away, but there are options. One of those options that I am looking at would be right here, this $1,200. This one here also does carrots, but what I like about this one is it windrows the harvested product into a straight line. So if you have a loader or something like that that's picking these up, it simplifies that task a little bit. Another option that I have is this one here, which it is 0.9 meters. So it's a little bit, I believe it's a little narrower. No, it's actually wider, and it's 4 miles an hour versus 3. So it's a little bit wider. It's a little bit faster. So I think that's what we're going to wind up doing is potatoes. And then you see here that they do have a machine that will pick them up, and this runs at a 4 miles an hour, it doesn't have the greatest working width, but it should be able to be wide enough to pick up everything that we want to do. And then you can actually add it with a hitch. So even though my tractor does not accept a package that allows it to use a front loader, this is an option where we can pull a trailer and it will pick it up and load it into the trailer. So I think this is the setup we're going to go with when we decide to do that. Now, we also need a trailer. So I'm looking at trailers here and I'm thinking, you know, I want to stay in that $5,000 range. There's not a lot in that range. Unfortunately, I've been looking and there really isn't, but there are a couple that would probably work for us. They're just smaller than I want, but you know what? You got to work your, you gotta start somewhere, right? So there's this one here, which is not the greatest trailer in the world. It starts off as a bale trailer, and I believe it's an auto load bale trailer. But for $2,800, we can get we can get this trailer here, and it holds 8,000, which isn't bad, and it's customizable. Oh, we want it to match our tractor? That's fine. It's $100 more. So for $2,900, we have an option. So I think that potatoes is definitely going to be one of those things we do. Now, it will not clear us from needing to get a harvester. We will have to get a harvester, but this gets us some diversity in our farm. I mean, other options, I mean, we could obviously go with this here, but I don't see it being worth it, considering that it only holds 1.6 meters cubed and it's $3,500, where the other one is only $2,900 if we want to paint it. So, and it holds 8,000. I think that's the better route. Now that we've kind of decided on what we're planning in those, at least two of those fields, we still have a third field that we need to determine what would we like to do. One of the thoughts I've had is grass. Now, I'm not fully on board with grass yet, but having that as an option, definitely see some potential for that. And the way that we would do that is quite simple. We would forage it. All right, because foraging, yes, it helps to have a windrower, but you don't have to. And we would probably get this crone that holds 11.9 to 19,000 meters cubed, and then we can add, or we would get this one here that holds 10 to 13,000, the SIP. I do like the SIP because I do believe it does allow for a top and a lower attachment, which I find to be very nice, especially for these other, you know, lower horsepower tractors. Yes, ours has over 100 horse, but that doesn't mean that we have this giant tractor, because we don't. And I think that the SIP is a good option. And at $3,400, it's really, you know, $3,500 if you wanted to have the large volume, and it's not really worth painting it, even though the painting is free. You know, it's not a real big deal. If I was worried about painting one, you know, I would probably go back, look at this lizard, but that's only 8.5 meters cubed, and its color options are pretty drab and dull, so I'm not really keen on buying one just to paint it. If I was, like I said, I would probably go with this crone, which I really do like the green. I think it looks sharp, which makes me sound like a really old person, something my mother would have said. But yeah, I think that this one unfolded at 3,650. It's a pretty good one as well. This one has only got a high bar though, so it's gonna be something I'm gonna have to look at with my Elves Chalmers and see if that's something I want to do. But enough of that. We kind of have an idea of what we're going to do with planting. The only other thing I would need is I need to get a mower, and that's where things kind of get expensive. So I've been searching, and there's a few options. I don't really want to go 4 miles an hour. I don't find that to be fun. 7 miles an hour is at least acceptable. Sickle mower is a very likely possibility. This is the sickle mower though, which I don't know if you've ever seen this one in action, but I do like this one. It does go where this one would actually fit on the back, so it is an option. And so it'll be between this one and there's also this one. This one's a much wider mower. It does a good job, but it doesn't really windrow, and neither does this one here. This one doesn't really windrow, so I may have to get a windrower, and you can get a windrower fairly inexpensively. I do have that mod in here as well, where we would go with probably this one here, this Russell mesh, which I really like this one. It does everything you need, and they have another one that matches that, and it's a tedder. So if we wanted to make hay, we can. We want to make grass bales just to feed cows and get them going, then we can. And we don't even have to do that. We can actually just put it in the forage wagon loose, because the forage wagon is cheaper than any of the balers that you can get in the game. Okay, so now that we're done looking at the stuff we want to do, I'm going to just put this right here on the edge. And actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to actually take this over to this field here. And this is the one that I'm going to do the grass. And that way, it's a little bit bigger than that small field. I think the amount of potatoes that we're going to run into is going to be astronomical. But this at least gives us something that we can sell for a couple of, the first few months, so that we can actually make some money besides having contracts. And I will plant that probably in the next episode, and it'll still be in the month of August, so that we can take one cutting off of it in October, allow it to grow for a month, so that we can technically take our first cutting in April. We'll then get a 3-month cycle for a full growth cycle on a cutting for July, and then again 3 months later for October. That way we can get 3 full cuttings a year off of that, which I think if we put in a small clamp, we can actually probably make some decent money. And come next winter, when we're able to take that grass out of that clamp and sell it, we will be able to actually see the benefits of having something to sell immediately. All right. Well, we've discussed that long enough. Let's go see if we can't find a job to do where we can make a little cash and start setting some money aside, so that we can start looking into buying some of the equipment we're going to need. And I know it won't be cheap, but we're going to have to get there eventually. So let's go ahead and see what we got, because I believe that there is a cultivating order out there for us. And yes, there is, and it's on field 47, which isn't too far off, I don't think. Field 47 is, yeah, it's right behind us, which I find weird because I thought that was planted. So, oh, it had wheat in it, so it's already been harvested. So let's go ahead, accept that contract, get that done quick, and turn it in, and maybe use that money to start purchasing some of this equipment we need. Alright, so let's go ahead, we'll hook up, and I know I can do the realistic hooking it up, but I don't like to get on and off the tractor that much, just to keep the realistic effect of the game going. And it's fun and all, but I don't think it's necessary. Now this field, not terribly large, shouldn't take too long. We have a decent sized cultivator, so we're just going to go ahead. We're going to do headland, maybe two on both ends, and then we're just going to start working through this, get this done. So, not sure what you guys are thinking about the series so far. It's been only a couple of days. I am working on these ahead so that I can kind of issue one out a day, maybe even two a day. I have not made that determination yet. I was thinking about doing two a day. Being that I've never created content before, I don't know how the algorithms work as far as if you overload the system. So if you do have any information on that, I would love to hear from it. Also, in my first episode, I mentioned some channels that I do watch and I do enjoy. Now, if that's something that you guys want to know more about, most of those are probably fairly well known channels, but I still don't think it's a bad idea to discuss what it is about those channels that I really do like, what aspects that each one of those offers that I'd like to bring into my channel. There's a lot to be said for, trying to do this all on my own and not take ideas from other content creators. And I don't think I would ever take their ideas without, saying directly if one of them was influencing me on an idea that they did or something they had done. I think that I would definitely give them credit where credit is due, because I'm not that smart of a guy. I mean I have a pretty vivid imagination, but I'm not really I'm not the most creative person in the world. So I would definitely give them credit where credit is due. There is so many good content creators out there, and I didn't even mention all of the ones that I've found inspiration from. The ones that I did mention are the ones that I have been watching the most of more recently. Most of them are not from North America, which I am. I find that kind of surprising that I've taken so much from the European aspect and their ideas, and it kind of reminds me more of what farming was when I was younger. It's not big machinery, the fields are smaller, the equipment is smaller, overhead is smaller. Some of these operations you see today, they they're a full-blown company. They've got, 50 to 100 employees in some cases. That the farm runs 24 hours a day. Cows don't take Christmas off. So, farms don't take holidays. Someone has to work. And no one can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, 365 days. Just no one can. So I do like a lot of the European maps because they take that into account, and they're single family farms. And that's kind of what I grew up with, and I kind of want to keep this channel in that ideology. Now, I think I've rambled on for about 20 minutes now, and this is the first work we're actually getting done. I don't think we're going to finish this field during the episode. You guys have seen fields cultivated before. You saw me do it in the last episode, so what I'll probably do is finish this off camera and leave it here for now. I do appreciate everyone that's taken the time to watch this video. Appreciate any comments, likes, shares, any new subscribers that want to join and follow along. I am more than happy to have you. I even have a soft spot for the trolls. So if you're out there and you want to give me a little bit of a troll, as long as it's lighthearted and playful, I'm okay with it. Because if I'm doing something you don't like, I'd like to know. I'd like to know what it is, in fact, that you'd like me to stop doing. Maybe it's you want me to stop talking. I don't know. I do that a lot. And a lot of it is rambling on. But I do think that it's important to have open discussion, especially with people that are taking time from their day to watch something that I'm creating. And I can't thank you guys enough. I do hope you guys stick around. I hope that this is something that we can grow, and once Farming Simulator 25 is released, we can move on to that, because I would really, really enjoy working the bugs out of my presentation in 22 so that I can move into 25 seamlessly and provide better content. So I guess we will leave it there for now, guys. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. We will see you later.